organ is vital to worship at Catalina United Methodist Church.
For hymn singing, for accompanying the choir, in some ways it's the heart of what we do in worship here.
But the organ that had served the Catalina congregation so well for 57 years was showing its age.
I noticed after my first year and spending time with the instrument and going up in the chambers, it hadn't been cleaned in 57 years. Also, the electrical system, I was having some difficulties in the connections. So the control system was suffering. There was evidence of pipe collapse due to weight. Because of the electrical system state, on occasion you will turn on the organ, the lights will come on, but then when you're wanting to engage the stops, there's nothing on a particular division. At various times there have been dead notes appearing, which then have to be individually repaired up in the chambers, and each note takes a good morning in terms of time to repair.
A generous bequest by two congregation members laid the foundation for the organ's rebirth.
Longtime members of the congregation, Ralph and Shirley Morgan, both passed away within a year of each other. And Shirley was an organist and very much into our music program. And then Ralph died, I say, not too much long after Shirley, and they left a bequest for the church in excess of $200,000, which the family then dedicated to a new organ, or refinishing our old organ. And so that's kind of how we got the ball rolling with the fundraising. Although Dennis Grannan, our organist, already had this germ of an idea.
So initially, the organ needed to be cleaned at the very least, and repairs made to certain pipes and redoing of the control system. And that work is quite extensive. So while we were at it, we chose to add to the divisions that they were originally intended to be, but due to costs at the time of building the new sanctuary and all, there were certain modifications to this instrument. So now the organ will be complete as wished for by the founding fathers. So what turned out to be a restoration has now become a rebuild. So basically, with the wonderful condition of our current pipes, upon restoration and the additions, we'll have a new organ.
Finding the right person to create the new organ was key. A search by the Organ Task Force led to Michael Quimby of Quimby Pipe Organs, Incorporated.
I've known of Michael Quimby's work for many years, and I've played several of his instruments and found them to be rich and broad spectrum and joyful to play. And so when this project came about, his company was one of the first on a national search that we asked for proposals from. And upon speaking with Michael just by telephone, I kind of knew from day one it was the right fit in terms of his design and organ building philosophies. And fortunately, the Organ Task Force felt the same way.
Dennis Grannan contacted us a number of years ago, and Eric Johnson, my head voicer, and I, we came in and looked and had an extensive visit with Dennis and prepared a tonal specification and created what is essentially a new organ with all new mechanical parts, retaining a significant number of pipes from the previous organ. The existing organ will be removed over the course of the next 6 or 7 days. All the pipes are being packed in trays to be shipped back to the Midwest in Missouri, and there they will be cleaned and tonally modified to fit with the new concept for the organ. The organ will be larger. It will have 4 keyboards or manuals, and it will have a broader scope of colors from the very softest to a very full organ, but not a sound that's overwhelming, but it comes out and envelops the listener instead of giving them a punch.
For the first time, you will see a magnificent facade of pipes that will extend almost floor to ceiling. They will be brought out within about 3.5 feet and all opened up so the pipes can speak clearly within the room and given a new voice.
And the promise of that new voice has generated a great deal of enthusiasm.
We have people stopping in almost every day to say, hey, can I see what's going on? And, how's it progressing? And so they're already very excited.
This has been a very enjoyable job. There's been good rapport, good give and take. The church, while we've been here, has been absolutely fabulous, kind, and willing to work with us. And unfortunately, through the best of intentions of others, it doesn't always work out that way. So when we come to a situation, an environment like this, you can tell by the chatter of the crew and everything that they're happy. And people come in and express interest. And that's a further motivation to them that somebody cares. Because it's hard to believe, but you can actually do some jobs where the only person that really cares is the organist. And that is not the case here. And also what's unusual here, they've had some initial money, but the congregation as a whole has participated in the project. And today that's highly unusual.
The fundraising has progressed amazingly well. One of the members of our congregation, Howard Steele, agreed to chair our fundraising committee between the bequest from the Morgans, and it will be the Morgan organ, the fundraising from our own congregation, and then some money from our foundation, which we have a foundation. We were able to raise the funds in full.
So, when will the new organ make its debut?
We're hoping to be able to play it on Easter Sunday in 2014, and that will be a great celebration because, of course, the sanctuary is always filled, and so that will be really good.
In addition to the organ, we've made the day more special by commissioning a new work for organ by Dorothy Papadakis from New York, and also a new piece being composed for choir, organ, and brass by Craig Phillips from Beverly Hills. And we're also commissioning for Easter Day the new hymn in procession, a setting for organ, brass, choir, and congregation. And it's the beginning of a year-long Catalina Organ Festival that will commence next Easter Day and continue for a year.
And that's just the beginning.
Well, we do expect it to be playing for many, many years, and one of the things that's come out of this is our foundation has already started setting aside so many dollars per month for organ maintenance, repair, but also replacement. So 50 years from now, when we are faced with this again, hopefully we'll have a really good nest egg that will enable us to do this without having to do all of the fundraising that Howard and Dennis worked so hard on. So it's already the congregation's looking ahead to the next 50 years. Again, it's about worshiping God, and for this congregation, that primarily happens on Sunday morning, but I think about weddings and funerals and all the ways that we use that organ on any given week. And so it's very exciting to have a new instrument that we can praise God with.